hold your applause until the end of the panel. I don't know. I'm not leading this thing. Let's let Sonny Straight start this thing off. Sonny, lead us, won't you?
Hello, boys and girls. My name is Sonny Straight. I am the voice of Krillin on Dragon Ball Z. No applause till the end of the program. The voice of Maze Hughes on Full Metal Alchemist. Don't do it. Usopp on One Piece. But this is a video game panel, right? Yeah. So I was Explosion Man in Explosion Man. I was Kid the Sloth in Ice Age 2. Video game, not the show, come on. Borderlands 2, I was those psychos. And I was Dr. Winklemeyer in Comic Jar.
You can clap now.
Please applaud. I don't set the rules here. You don't have to pay attention to anything I say.
Oh, okay. Hi, I'm Sarah Natacheni. I am most known for playing Ash Ketchum on Pokemon.
Stop it!
But of more interest to you guys, I guess, it's a voiceover panel. I was in Batman. I play Sif in Thor, which comes out this week. You got a Pokeball, that's cool. I'm in My Littlest Pet Shop. I'm in Poke Park 2.
And Poke Park 1.
And Poke Park 1. This is my director, Tom. He knows more than I do. I'm in Gangstar Vegas, which is a very cool game. I play Ronnie Q, which she sounds pretty much like me. I'm Batman Dark Knight. And Dragon Hunter. Yeah, blah, blah, blah. Okay, cool. Thanks for coming out. Yeah, and Bullet was my first video game ever, and then yesterday we were doing autographs, and 2 people came up with Bullet, which, you know, DVD covers, so I was like, this is good.
Yeah.
Good story, I know.
Yeah. My name's Tom Wayland, and I'm an actor and director. I work on a lot of stuff. I've directed Pokemon for like the last 7 years. I've been in all the Yu-Gi-Ohs and Ninja Turtles and G.I. Joe and Pokemon, Video game-wise, I've been in a variety of stuff, and in the last year I've probably directed about a dozen. Something that we've been specializing in lately in New York, Sarah and Michelle have been in some of these, are these mobile games, but really advanced mobile games that play like console games. So I directed and appear in the only game that was made for The Dark Knight Rises, the Batman movie, Iron Man 3 earlier this year, starring Adrian Pasdar from Heroes, who is TV's Iron Man. He plays Iron Man in the Iron Man 3 game. Thor 2, which comes out this week. Gangstar Vegas, which was super fun. There's one that I'm in, a World War II game called Brothers in Arms, which will be coming out soon. Modern Combat, all sorts of crazy crap. And I got mocap for Rock Band 1. Not all of my stuff ended up in the game, but some of it did, and that was kind of fun. And also, you know, a bunch of Pokemon stuff. And the greatest game that I ever worked on that nobody ever got to see is I played Chucky in the Child's Play game. That got shit canned after we recorded it because of a legal battle. So there you go. But it's good to be here.
I'm Dante John. I have the distinction of being one of the very first video game voice actors because Duke Nukem 3D came out in 1996. I recorded it in 5, so I always say 5. I've done a lot of games. I'm not going to sit here and name them all because I have short-term memory problems. Plus, I have this problem with my short-term memory. So, currently, you hear me more often, you probably don't know this, but you hear me more often on television and radio than you do in video games because the bulk of my work is doing infomercials and commercials, so you'll hear my voice at 2 a.m. in the morning on cable channels pitching something for Guthy Ranker, like Paul McKenna's I Can Make You Thin in 7 Days solution, you know, that kind of stuff. So, that's why when people meet me, they go, wow, you sound so familiar, why is that? I do a lot of radio and TV imaging too, so there's probably a radio station near you that I'm the voice of, but they don't let me use the Duke Nukem voice on radio, so that would be inappropriate. But thank you for coming out.
My name is David Eddings. I'm Vice President at Gearbox. I'm not exactly sure why I'm up here. Everybody else is professional voice actors. Oh, that's right. I do the voice, in addition to like a lot of paper pushing, I do the voice of Claptrap and TK Baja in Borderlands. A friend of mine over here decided he wanted to have everybody hear Claptrap, so he actually created a voice processing system. So I'm going to try it out for the first time. Tell me what you think. Can I just pick it up? Hello, travelers! New missions are available at the Firestone Bounty Board.
I'm Christopher Robin Miller. I guess the relevant thing that I've done as a voice actor is that I'm the voice for Nintendo DS for Professor Layton and Inspector Chelmy and Don Paolo in that series of games. And I also... Is mine on the processor too?
You actually made a better contract.
I don't know what that means, but no, I'm kidding. And I also do thousands of other voiceovers, and I direct voice actors for animation. But I'm mostly known because for in-store, which is national, my voice is in Walgreens and CVS's and all the Kroger stores everywhere. So every time you're shopping and you're annoyed with, come to the pharmacy where you can get the, now you know
That's
what.
you?
Now you know what makes you want. So, and the forever stamps from the U.S. Postal
That's you!
Service.
I work there.
Now they hate me more. I'm glad I'm here. But I'll tell you what. There's a lot of that. There's a lot of commercial work, but I'm mostly known for doing character voices. And so I guess I'm on this panel to like get a gig from some of you guys. So, thanks for having me.
Hi, I'm Michelle Nods. I voiced Jessie on Pokemon. I was Elisa Boskanovich in Street Fighter Cross Tekken, coming out on November 5th, coming up soon. The Guided Fate Paradox, I voiced Lilia Sautome, opposite Sam Riegel, woohoo! I was in Gangstar Vegas as Lucky. I was in a game called Castle Dracula as Grace. I was a Pokemon trainer in Super Smash Bros. Brawl, and other stuff I've done, just like anime. I've been in Genshin. Oh, Heathcliff the Fast and the Furious. It's like a little racing car game. I was in that. Let's see, what have I been in? Genshin, Magical Witch Puri-chan, Ikitosen. Pokepark and Pokepark 2! I forgot about that too. So yeah, and a bunch of anime and other stuff and audiobooks and telephone prompts and whatnot. So that's it.
Thank you for coming.
Great, guys. Thank you.
So, why don't you guys ask us some questions? Okay, you in the back.
Alright, I want to know from each of you guys, like, what was your favorite role that you guys have done in your career? What was your favorite job that you've done? And like, what was the biggest challenge that you've seen in your career?
So, in 27 parts, Sonny.
Part the first. The role that I love the best right now is Usopp on One Piece. And the reason why is that the last year and a half of recording, he's done some incredible stuff. And he's gone through these emotional gamuts, which have also been the most challenging. But he's angry and frustrated and crying at the same time. And this is the first time it ever happened. I'm actually recording and crying as I'm recording. So that was the first. I said the first time I felt tears on my face from doing Usopp, I said, "This is my favorite character now." So does that answer your question?
Yes, it does.
Okay. I don't know. Well, my favorite role is probably Ash Ketchum. Right?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, yeah, I love playing Ash. I think it's been kind of the greatest thing I've ever done. I really love doing Gangstar Vegas. I played this like radio DJ, Ronnie Q, and she's just like a really cool girl. And oh yes, and if you come to the panel, I'm doing like a couple rooms is down from 5 to 6. We're gonna play some of that, so if you want to check it out. Greatest hurdle, like toughest thing in my career, you know, just being an actor is hard. It's not easy. Yeah, you know, making sure you're always working and getting yourself out there, and that's pretty much the hardest thing I have to deal with as far as this is concerned, and then just life.
So, you know, one of my favorite roles I ever played, I did Storm Shadow on G.I. Joe for a while, which was really cool. Now, I was on, like, the Jump the Shark Sigma 6 G.I. Joe, but I was still Storm Shadow, who is the coolest character in G.I. Joe, period. When I was a little kid, I had a Storm Shadow figure, so that was cool. Being that this is a video game panel, I'm going to slightly divert it back here. The coolest thing that I ever played is the thing that you'll never see, because I got to be Chucky in Child's Play, which was so fun, because all I did was scream profanity at people. And kill them. And the script was the greatest, because it was like, you know, Chucky kills person with baseball bat, Chucky kills person with knife, Chucky kills person with hypodermic needle, you know, and it was like, that was what I did. So that was a lot of fun too. As far as hurdles, I don't know. I mean, dealing, you know, having to overcome my shyness and humility because I'm so fucking good at this. It's just, no, I don't know. You know, like what you said, it's being an actor, it's a competitive field. It's hard to get work, you know, and you do have to deal with failure, because even the best actors are gonna not get the part more often than they get the part, and you just gotta suck it up and keep on going.
Hey, could we hear the Chucky voice?
Yeah. Oh, jeez. I'm trying to, this was years ago, so, but it was sort of like, no. He was kind of in here, and he would just sort of like, you know, Sonny. Yeah. Gonna hit you with a fucking baseball bat!
Now people finally got to hear it.
I love maniacal characters. Obviously, my favorite has been Duke Nukem, because it's effortless for me to just do the Duke voice. It doesn't cause any strain at all, and I feel like I've got balls of steel. But as far as a challenge goes, I gotta say there was one audition. I do theme park character voices too, for like Legoland, California, Busch Gardens in Williamsburg, Silver Dollar City in Branson, Missouri. But there was an audition that came up for a ride at Dollywood in Pigeon Forge, Tennessee. It's a roller coaster called the Mystery Mine. And they have an audio animatronic buzzard that you see at several points along your journey through the 2-hour line to get on the ride. And the audition call said they need to find somebody who can speak in an authentic Tennessee accent, who can sing on key and sound creepy like a buzzard. And when I saw that, I went, holy crap, I don't even know if I can do that. But I did it well enough that I got the job, so I'm the voice of Buzz the Buzzard at Dollywood. And I
Can we hear it?
That was, oh. Let's see, what does he say?
I want to see an authentic Tennessee singing on pitch.
I wish I could remember exactly what it sounded like. It was something like this, really creepy as shit.
Something to that effect. But as far as challenges go, I think that was the most challenging audition I had to do. My favorite role outside of Duke Nukem is, you know, I like being the hero like Duke Nukem, but I prefer being evil characters more, because there's something inside of me that I get to channel. And so I don't know where it comes from. But it was
Black Heart, maybe?
my cold black heart, it's possible. The Sweet Tooth spokesperson in Twisted Metal 4. So I got to narrate the entire beginning of the game, and then I play all of the other characters that actually interact with that creepy little clown. But the inspiration for it was the Crypt Keeper from Tales of the Crypt. Do you remember that show?
Yeah. Greetings, boys and ghoulies.
You know, it was that kind of voice. And at the end of the session, which was, you know, 3-4 hours long, I talked like this for 3 days. But the character was so maniacal and evil, that's what I loved about it. And if you've ever played the game, even when you win, you lose. Are you familiar with it? You get screwed over. You don't get your real wish at the end of the game, which I thought was pretty cool, because screw you players. I like that.
Punishing the player in video games, that's an interesting thing, right?
Yeah.
So, My story is completely different than everybody else's because I never tried to be a voice actor at all. I've never had to audition for a single thing. As an executive over at Gearbox, I can just give myself the role. So, so I thought I was perfect for Claptrap, and nobody else really had a say in the matter, I guess. But
Well, they all thought it was appropriate too, because you never shut up.
well, it was weird because at first I thought they named the character because I never shut up, but then I was also wondering if they realized that was my nickname in college.
Rap that rap.
That's my name in the Philippines.
I think that's everybody's name over there. It's interesting. I've actually been doing voices in games for 15 years, but always for my friends making games in the Dallas area. And I did it for free because I just wanted to help them out. So I actually did. Yeah, exactly, right. But I did like voices in a game called Sin, which nobody remembers because Half-Life came out like 2 weeks prior.
Wait. Anybody remember Sin? Look.
One guy, two people, three. And you're just raising your hand because. That's about as many cells as they had too, by the way. So they're all here today. It's been interesting because
They want their money back.
they probably do. I know a guy that has it. So the fun part for me as basically a biz guy at Gearbox is I actually get credibility finally with my kids that I make video games because they would ask like Brothers in Arms is our game. And in fact, I did the deal with Gameloft that you're working on. I'm the one that put that together, right? So,
Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. You're welcome. I'll just take 10%. That's all. Actually, I owe this guy 10% for the appearances here.
I'll take it.
The problem is though, my kids would ask me like, "What did you do in the game? What did you do in the game?" And there wasn't really much to point to. I might have had like a very, very small role. Now that I'm Claptrap, I finally have credibility with them that I actually do make games, and they finally love me, which is nice. Sometimes they love me. But as far as the roles that I played, Claptrap obviously is a lot of fun to do. But TK Baja, since I only have two to choose from, right? TK Baja is actually my voice, just in character. And I loved doing TK. And then Zach Ford, the level designer, for Sanctuary and for a lot of levels in the first game, just decided to kill the character off. Nobody knew until it went into cert. And we're playing it, and it's like all of a sudden, like, TK's dead. That's really strange. So screw Zach Ford for doing that, but I get to do zombie TK. And just to let you know how it sounds like if you're not familiar with it, he's an old, blind, one-legged mission giver in right outside of Firestone in the first game. Did anybody play Borderlands? Holy shit! Did anybody play Borderlands 2? That is awesome. Thank you all very much. Did y'all buy it new? Who bought it new? Who bought it used? Fuck all y'all. Just that guy, actually. He's the only one that raised his hand. So TK's like, you should have seen the look on your face. Smells like off-worlder. Hey, could you go kill that skag that killed my wife? I'd really appreciate it. So anyway, that's TK, and I only have two roles to choose from. They're both my favorites, like my two kids. So yeah, there you go. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it.
Excellent. I'm going to use 2 microphones. You can never be too good to yourself. I would say that my favorite role, I actually got to do 9 characters on a game called Twisted Metal Small Brawl. And I would say that the biggest challenge is that game didn't do very well because it wasn't very good. But it was really fun doing the characters. But also, and another favorite, besides, of course, Professor Layton.
I love that character.
Everyone's like, I don't understand what that is. I'm huge in Tokyo. I would say was playing Santa Claus for a film that was on Cartoon Network called The Light Before Christmas. And I loved doing the voice, but I also got to direct the other actors. And the actor that played the Candleman in it was Ken Sansom. who was one of my heroes in voiceover. He was the voice of Rabbit on Winnie the Pooh. And see, makes everybody do that. Because you want him to be your third grandpa. You're like, please also be my grandpa. What? Yeah, oh, I know, Rabbit is kind of a D-bag, but sweetest guy ever. And he was with my agency, and meeting him, because my sister named me Christopher Robin Miller, she came up with the name because she liked Winnie the Pooh. And that was my real name on my birth certificate. When I met him, and he saw that that was my name, he started doing Rabbit's voice, going, Christopher Robin, doing the little, nebbish character that he is, or anxiety-ridden character that he is. And it made me feel 4 years old. And I would hug him every time I saw him. And that was one of my favorite things. I would say my biggest challenge in voiceover that I've ever had was doing a voice that I created that has had quite a long life, and getting to my 5th project with this voice, and having a new director who I thought I was excited to work with, and that person spent a day and a half telling me that I sounded awful, where did they find me, and I didn't sound like the character. And it took until the middle of the 2nd day for the producers to go, he created the character, so and just this person didn't know me, and they didn't have their ears on, and they just had their ego on, and they forgot to bring their ears, because I knew what I was doing. And it's really odd. You can run into those kinds of situations in your work no matter what, where you're going to run into somebody and you don't know why it is. But you think you get past that once you're out of school, but there's bullies out there. And that was an odd experience. Right? Down with bullies. But I'll tell you,
Fuck bullies!
Let's go kick their asses.
depending on the tone you say that with, it changes the meaning. Really. And it's really all about that, isn't it? Right? We love doing this. They put us in a padded room with a microphone, and then they give us money. How neat is that? So the truth is, that's the biggest challenge. First world problems. That's not really a problem. But I would say that that's what it is, and we just love it so much. So here, yeah.
I don't know how to follow that up. Wow. My favorite character to voice ever was Ogiyo Ichika in Genshiken. Has anybody ever seen Genshiken? And then, yay! If you haven't, Genshiken is an anime about anime fans, so it's really cool. It's all these college students. Definitely want to check it out. And she's really cool because she's got like a million different layers to her character. And she's a closeted Yaoi fan. So she's kind of cute.
Who is it?
Ooh, who is it? Exactly.
By the way, wait, I like this because this is like half a class and half a show. So when she said, how many of you like that? You went like this. We get one clap and then a hand raise.
I'm not sure.
That should be a tradition.
Yes!
Yeah. Let's all try that, right? Yeah! You had a clap question?
It saves time.
I like that, that's cute. As far as video games go, I think my favorite is Elisa in Street Fighter Cross Tekken because she's so cute and pretty and I love her pink hair and she's a robot, which is neat to voice her. So, and I like playing her like in the game. My brother was really funny because he's like, oh, you're in this? Now I get to kick your ass. Sweet. I was like, thanks a lot, Chris. Thank you. I appreciate it. But what I liked about it, too, is my brother lives in Irvine, California, and I don't get to see him very much, and I got to go out to California to record, and I got to spend time with him, so that was really cool. Because I live on the East Coast, he lives on the West Coast, I never get to see him, like, sometimes not even for holidays, so I got to stay with him. And he's like, yes, when does your game come out? So I can look, because he's got like all the game systems, PS3 and PS2 and all that. And he's like, yeah, I want to like, play the characters and beat your character up. I'm like, thanks. I love you too, Chris. Thank you. His name is Chris as well.
Well, then I'll do it for you.
Thanks. Yeah. Oh, challenges, hurdles. Competition, yeah, because what we also have to deal with now with new technology and everything is competing with people all over the globe. with Skype sessions and everything. Now I'm just not competing with people like on the East Coast, but on the West Coast and sometimes in other countries. So that's one. I know first world problems. I know.
But that is legit, though.
So
The democratization of information through technology and the ability to work with other people, obviously, makes it big. Makes it big.
Yeah, clap question. It's not as, it doesn't have much energy to it.
So, all right, so guys, we're more than halfway through this thing. We answered
Two
one
questions.
question, maybe. So, let's try and go.
That's our fault. Briefer answers.
Yeah. All right. You.
What does it take to be a voice actor?
Oh, yeah, that's it.
Balls. Next.
Let me throw out my thing here. Focus on the actor half of that. What's it take to be a voice actor? Don't think about I want to be a voice actor. Be an actor, okay?
Right. How many people on this panel set out to be voice actors? Raise your hand. How many people set out to be actors? You have no idea what life is going to offer you as an actor. You have to be prepared for anything. So get the training.
Get the training, get involved, whether you go to school for it, whether you do community theater, you take workshops, classes, do it. And that's also the best way to get auditions is you meet people who are working, they recommend you. The number one way I get new talent is through other talent that I like.
Yeah. So, but if I may point out, none of them want to be actors. So what's the next question?
Yeah.
How about you right here?
Wait.
What's your question?
Do any of you have any memorable experiences acting or auditioning where everything went wrong, or you couldn't
Blue Stinger.
give a performance?
I do commercials sometimes, and it was an audition for a commercial for Capital One, you know, What's in Your Wallet, and it was something where they wanted rocker dudes, and I'm playing the guitar, and you know, and I'm doing this whole thing in the audition, I'm like, what's in your wallet? Yeah! And they're like, oh man, that's awesome, and they're all laughing and everything. And then I get through a round of callbacks, and then I get to the thing with the clients in the room, and I'm doing my thing, and I'm, you know, playing, and they're like, can you not, like, throw the hair around like that? I'm like, really? And they're like, yeah, can you not? And I'm like, but
That's what rockers do.
I'm like, but why did you pick me? You know, because I'm like, you don't want, because I'm like, I can't totally control this. And they're just, and I was like floored by that. And then I'm just like, I'm sorry, and they're like, listen, your hair's beautiful and everything, okay, but no. And I sort of pissed them off by questioning them. But like literally, I was just like, then why am I here? If you don't want this, that's my thing. So, and I totally blew it with that because I was like, huh? But, yeah, you know.
I was once directing Sean Schimmel and he had gas all day.
You know what?
That was horrifying.
It's safe to say right at this very minute, he has horrible gas.
I bet he does.
I was doing a voiceover, and the director came in and walked right in, and I went to shake his hand, and he went, "We don't have any time for pleasantries." Okay. Wow. And then he moved on to like try to tell me all this stuff he could tell me from the booth, and I just waited, and I went, "Are you done?" And he said, well, I just want to make sure we have enough. Well, we don't have time for pleasantries, so we just got
Did you get your check?
You know what? I actually was able to play on his guilt enough that he's called me back several times since.
Yeah, good for you.
Ladies, do you want to chime in, or do we
Just
do
the
it?
right amount of douchebag with getting right back to nice.
Yeah.
So.
Sorry to mean to interrupt, just trying to move it along real fast. Ladies, do you have, do you want to?
I can barely think of one. I feel like I once did a voiceover job, and the director, she's the producer, you know the story. She asked me if I could maybe get it right on the first take this time.
Ooh!
Wow.
So that was nice. That was fun. That was a good time. That's a hurdle. That was that's a low point of my career.
And was your response, well, fuck you very much? Another question, you right here. Yes.
John, what did you think about Duke Nukem Forever? Like, what were your thoughts on it?
I loved it. I know the critics panned it.
Yes.
Well, I loved it because, unfortunately, the critics who panned it did not grow up playing Duke Nukem 3D. They were these young gamers who grew up to become critics, and so they didn't understand it. They expected a game that was 12 years old and have 12-year-old graphics to be Call of Duty, and that's not what it was. I just did duty. But now this man was greatly involved in actually bringing it together, so.
Well, yeah, I'd like to speak to that a little bit because, you know, a lot of us in the Dallas area, we owe our existence of game developers, our existence in 3D Realms. And there's a lot of people that worked on Duke 3D that went on to start other companies, including Randy Pitchford and Brian Martell, two owners of Gearbox. And the Ritual guys, they went off and did some stuff as well. And they're really the godfather of the Dallas gaming mafia. Duke, and we know George and Scott. I played poker with George. I see Scott on a regular basis. It was tough to see this game in development for so long. And I was at Gathering of Developers, and we were the publisher of Duke Nukem Forever for a few years.
You're running long.
Oh, sorry about that. So anyway, the point was, is when
We don't have music to
I'm so sorry. I'm really So, get the guy with the Apollo, come out. So, long story short, that game was in development for a long time. When 3D Realms shut down, we bought it because a lot of us had touched that game in many ways, and we thought that it was a piece of history, that it should have been released. So the way that oh God, I'm going on. The way that I consider it is that we were the stepdad that married the mom that had the son that had the son in the basement, and while we didn't produce that child, we did kick it out of the house and said, you know what, I'm going to present you to the world. So I'm done. That's it. All right, what's your question, sir? The handlebar mustache.
I just want to hear Krillin, is really what I want.
I wish this panel would go faster, damn it.
All right, red braids.
This is especially true in video games, but for characters that require a lot of effort or screaming, how do you deal with that and maybe take care of your voice before and after?
I warm up my voice beforehand. If you want to be an actor, it's going to take like singing lessons or voice lessons because they'll teach you a lot of exercises to do that. There's also a video called The Art of Screaming, I believe, and it's for those rockers who go, roar, that kind of stuff. But it teaches you a really good technique where you put a pencil in your mouth and you try to scream over the pencil, and it just opens your throat in a way that does cause least damage. Like,
you can raise your soft palate. And,
Usopp screams almost every line, and so I have to do something to protect it.
And the other thing is if you also have control over it, you know, to have shorter sessions, so you don't have to play a character for 4 hours when you can do two
I don't go
2 hour
any more
sessions.
than 3 hours with Usopp.
Yeah, and
that's pushing it.
the other thing is breath support, big time breath support, because when you start to run out of breath, everything tightens up and you strain, and that can just make a hard thing even worse.
But let's not forget that in all of these sessions, the emotives, the screaming, the dying, the killing, the attacking are always done last. So you don't lose your voice during the session.
Not always. Sometimes when you have a scene that you have to do and it's quiet and then there's an action scene.
Well, that's the thing though with video games that are, you know, where you can do things out of sequence.
Yeah, video games they will save all the fighting reactions for the last, but in anime, it's just soft, loud, soft, loud.
Guy in the back has been holding his hand up forever. Yes, you.
Going back to one of the earlier questions, have you ever had any experiences where you got trashed on a job that you thought you did really good just because the video game did bad?
There is generally there are generally annoying characters in every story game, you know what I mean? And just taking it to an anime thing, like there's an actor in New York named David Moon who would get trashed all the time because of, like, in the 4Kids Double One Piece, he was Sanji, and people hated that, and in Slayers, he was Zelos, and people hated what he did there. But in every one of those instances, it was some director saying, hey, do it like this, and he would just do it, and then people would hate him for it, and it wasn't his fault. But like recently I played, we did a game called Gangstar Vegas, and I played this guy named E-Man, who's this like kind of tweaked out drug dealer dude, and he sort of kind of talks like this all the time. He's, because he's all stoned and wasted and all this stuff. And he's supposed to be annoying. So people are like, God, he's annoying. I'm like, well, good, I did it right.
Are there any differences between voice acting in video games and voice acting in anime, or like in...
Pay is different.
Hey, Michelle, answer.
Oh, wow.
You haven't said anything. You know this.
I'm trying to be polite. Video games, I think, is a lot tougher. Well, especially if you're doing fighting games and there's like fighting reacts in it. And like they said, save it to the last. Do dialogue first. Save all the reacts to the last. Because it takes a lot. I mean, unless you're doing like Usopp, unless you're doing like a lot of screaming in anime. But on the flip side, the challenge with anime is, especially if you're starting out, is to match lip flap. Even though the engineer can usually squeeze it left or right, or longer or shorter in order to make it fit in the flap, because for some reason in America we're very meticulous about the flap, but if you watch it in Japanese, they don't really care where the flap goes, and I don't know why. But they're very meticulous about it here in America. So anime, dubbing, video games, more reactions and stuff, unless you're doing a ridiculous screaming role. So yeah.
You make a lot more money doing video games too.
Yeah.
In video games you make more money, yes, that's true.
Well, the video game voice acting is unionized work. Is the anime?
Not unionized.
That would be the issue. You guys got to get into SAG-AFTRA already, will you?
Everybody's it. But even the I mean, not to get into too much detail on this sort of thing, but even the union stuff with anime, it's under the foreign dubbing agreement, which is like the lowest dollar contract there is. So union anime is still kind of a straight rate.
I did not know that.
Yeah.
We make the same as the union on that, but it's nothing. Yeah. It's $5 an hour.
Somebody pick another question. Pick a hand.
You with the fuzzy wrist.
Okay, so you guys talked a little bit about competition, but I'm wondering about the community of voice actors. What other voice actors or actors do you guys know? And could you possibly use your connections to get any of these people here to Youmacon next year?
All right, for a nominal fee, certainly. Being a director, I work with everybody who does this in New York. But as an actor, and some of you guys I'm sure can back this up, when you're in a dub and people, or even in video games, you record one actor at a time, you can be in a show with other people for years and never meet them.
I didn't meet Vic Mignogna until I was at a convention with him. And I said, who is that guy with all the girls surrounding him? And when I say girls, I mean 10-year-olds. And he said, that's Vic Mignogna. I said, really, what does he do? He said, what does he do? He's in Full Metal Alchemist, just like you. And I went, what does he play? He said, he's Ed. I went, he's the little kid? Wow! That's impressive.
So, obviously, I'm kind of fairly new, at least in popular characters, but I went to high school with Kyle Bear like 25 to 27 years ago. Y'all know Kyle?
He's the new Big the Cat.
Yeah, he's the announcer on Dragon Ball Z. He's in
Wreck-It Ralph.
He's in Wreck-It Ralph. He's Ryu in Street Fighter and whatnot. But I also knew Chris Sabat too, because he lived down the street from me.
Wow.
And then I was meeting a lot of voice actors over the years just because I was hanging out with Kyle and hanging out with Chris at times, and so it was weird. None of them ever recommended me for anything. But the only reason that I'm here, though, is because John actually recommended that I come to Youmacon. And so I have a perfect reason to even say this.
You have to do this stuff, man. You have to.
People don't even know.
You're claptrap.
People don't know who that character is. Actually, I thought
he makes Borderlands.
I'm overwhelmed at the support and the adoration that we get. I really didn't realize. This is amazing. This makes me feel really happy for me and everybody else back at home.
Come back next year.
Please come back.
Yeah, I'd love to. Clap question. I haven't fucked it up already? All right.
Fighting! Rapid session. Building off what she said, how you recommend each other, any of you can answer this. If you weren't able to make a role, is there anyone you would recommend to fill your spot for you?
What?
Oh, well, I can say I've been replaced on Heroes of New Earth as the Badass Pack announcer by Samuel L. Jackson. Which kind of sucks, but I love Sam Jackson, so... But you know, Sam, stay out of voice acting.
Has made more movies than any single actor working today.
Yeah, wow. Who? Sam Jackson. Yeah, because he'll be in anything.
See, so he really doesn't need to work, that fucker.
Oregon free.
I'm going to be an annoying person and ask. We have a friend who's stationed in Japan, he's a Marine, and he can't be here this year or last year. If possible, if you guys have a chance afterwards, can I just get a picture with him? We want to cut out with him?
Yeah. Why don't you bring it up here right now and get the entire panel with it all at once. Here. Everybody move in.
Gather around.
I'll go low.
1, 2, 3.
when you are recording video games and whatnot, when you're doing the voice acting for the games, is there how is the dialogue set out for it? Is it like a normal and like a
Usually typed on paper.
Is it like how a normal like drama?
It's not like a screenplay.
Yeah, no. Usually they'll do a wildlife script, right?
Yeah, you'll have like, I mean, the games that we've been working on lately, I mean, Michelle and Sarah, the ones that are like story games, you'll have your scenes, but then you'll have whole sections of wild lines, like one-liners, and then you'll have all your reactions, like for the Batman game, like Batman had 10 different noises he made when he punched somebody, But the thing is, trust me, when you play that game, all you do is hit people, So if you have the same things over and over again.
I'm surprised it was only 10.
You'll totally notice it. Yeah, it's like 10, soft punches, 10 medium punches, 10 hard punches, 10 kicks, this, that, and it just goes on and on and on. So, you have your storylines, but yeah, then there's all this extra stuff at the end, which you were saying that you often do save to later, because those are like your random shouts and screams.
And for each one that they keep, you do maybe 10 ABCs.
You're doing a bunch, yeah.
But the thing is, and I think the game developers learned over the years they had to do that, because there were games like Duke Nukem 3D way back when, where they took one line and it comes up most often, where is it? Every time you touch something, where is it? The same read, why didn't they get 5 or 6 or 10 takes of that? So, where is it? Where is it?
Technology really kept being able to do that. That's true.
Hat.
Still
Hey, Hat, what's up?
She should recognize me. Come on.
I did. I feel like I've been choosing too many people.
All right. This is directed towards the whole group. What did it take to get your start in voice acting?
Mine's a real quick answer. I was a radio broadcaster for 30 years. I did the silly morning voices on, the Z Morning Zoo and all that stuff. So that's how I started.
Cool.
Yeah, mine is probably going to be a little bit like yours. When you're in charge and you can just go ahead and put yourself. Yeah, I was a producer. I mean, I have a background as an actor. I went to NYU and I acted growing up and all this stuff. But I got into the business of cartoons and stuff like that. As a producer, and then I was directing, and then when I worked for a company called Central Park Media, when I left there, and then there was no conflict of interest, all of the studios that I had given work over the years, I'm like, hey guys, time to audition me. And I'm realistic, I'm like, don't just hand me roles, let me earn them, but that was my in, and I started booking stuff, and that was that.
I was a theater actor in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, and Funimation moved to Texas and had open auditions. And I got the part of Krillin, but Krillin, dies a lot, so it was a part-time job. But luckily, Cartoon Network liked what I did with Krillin and asked me to audition for Toonami Tom. And when I got that role, I kind of realized I stumbled onto a career.
I actually, I got very lucky. I was 18 years old, and I had an agent manager for acting, just for straight acting, and they sent me on the audition for Pokemon, and that's how I booked it. And I waited like 3 years. I got lazy, I got comfortable, I'm not really sure what it was, but then I just sat down and in a couple of weeks just made 5 voiceover reels and submitted them, and then I started getting more work out of that.
Yeah.
We have 4 minutes. We have 4 minutes.
I was working as a waitress in a cocktail bar.
Bribery, flash the directors, or sleep with them. Go.
Wait, let me take that down.
Did you answer this? I did. Okay.
Yeah.
One last question. I can't pick them, so let's let a lady. Michelle, you haven't picked anybody, have you?
Oh.
Pick somebody for the last question. You better pick good. The pressure's on.
Girl in the front here, little wig.
I guess this is for Sarah. How do you deal with people who don't like your ash? Because
I've been looking at it. I like her ash. I don't know about you guys, but I think it's awesome.
Really nice. Are you one of those people? I'm an ash man myself.
Listen up.
Show everybody.
No, go ahead.
the first time I heard it, because I don't have a problem with it. The first time I heard it on TV, though, I thought
That's quite a compliment. I don't have a problem with it.
Listen, I know exactly how you feel, and I
You guys
watched
need to
a lot
stop
of...
the panel right now. There's supposed to be another one coming in at 6. They're supposed to have 10 minutes. Sorry, I don't know what you were told.
You got it.
Everybody's got to leave.
You really think
Get out!
Why don't I come to my next
Everybody
panel
punch that dude over there.
and I'll answer it for you. Thank you very much.
No, that was a joke. I hope everybody knows.